Hello, I'm Lauren Bishop, a member of BA Creative. We are here to present our research findings over the organization Black and Hooded. We hope that our findings will help Black and Hooded improve their communication efforts as a whole by creating a consistent, well-known brand, influential, and interesting content on all social media platforms, as well as address and cultivate donors in order to fulfill the vision for the future of the nonprofit organization. Black and Hooded started through a social media movement centered around the hashtag Black and Hooded. This movement originated in March of 2017 to celebrate the accomplishments of African American graduate students. Founders Anthony Wright and Brian Allen started sharing the movement within their own campuses and networks. Wright graduated from Indiana University that spring, and Wright was the first person who used a hashtag due to his early graduation. Now Black and Hooded is looking to receive 501c3 status to become a nonprofit. If Black and Hooded became a nonprofit organization, it would allow them to become tax exempt. The goal of the nonprofit organization will be to provide African American graduate student scholarships through an application process, connect students with others through Black and Hooded database, and also change the stigma of what it means to be Black and Hooded.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Baker, and BA Creative's goal is to provide hashtag Black and Hooded with more information that will help hashtag Black and Hooded reach organizations' key publics. Through quantitative and qualitative research, we will provide Black and Hooded with the data to do this. BA Creative started with the secondary research, which acquired information about Black and Hooded, its key publics, along with the organization's current situation. The secondary research was split into situation research, organization research, public research, and the SWOT. Some of Black and Hooded's strengths include that Black and Hooded provides representation to Black graduate students through the organization's databases and scholarship programs. The organization tells the story and gives voices to Black graduate students. And Black and Hooded has a database that connects Black graduates with professionals who already have acquired a master's degree, law, or PhD degree. The organization's weaknesses are that Black and Hooded has a small staff with little or no public relations or communication background. The organization does not have a 501c3 certification status, and Black and Hooded's reach is limited to the organization's employees' contacts and connections to the organization's social media platforms. The organization has a lack of awareness within Black and Hooded's key publics because the aspiring nonprofit does not have much information about it. Black and Hooded has 3 opportunities. The use of the hashtag on social media every semester before graduation keeps the organization and the movement relevant. Black and Hooded is one of the select few organizations that awards scholarships to Black graduate students seeking a master's, law, or PhD degree. The organization does not have a primary competitor who offers the same services that Black and Hooded provides to the potential and current Black graduate students. Some of Black and Hooded's threats may include other competitors such as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and Gates Millennium Scholarship Program are established entities helping Black graduates. Funding for Black and Hooded scholarships are only from donors and are irregular, which changes the scholarship amount every year. Laws for nonprofit status could change and make the process for Black and Hooded's nonprofit status difficult.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Busimi with BA Creative, and I'm going to be going over our methods of research. The first method of research was in-depth interviews. The purpose of the in-depth interview was so that BA Creative could conduct research to collect information that was not obtained from the organization, situation, and public's research. Information containing public opinion, behavior, and knowledge about Black and Hooded was missing from the previous research the team had conducted. The in-depth interview's purpose was to collect information from Black and Hooded's key publics, acquiring the knowledge, perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors of the organization's possible customers. By collecting data through interviews, our team could access possible improvements in communication and public relations efforts and provide this information to Black and Hooded. The rationale behind in-depth interviews includes having an open-ended conversation with a purpose to gather detailed information about a subject. In-depth interviews provide a detailed outlook on a subject, which was Black and Hooded. When talking to interviewees, the interviewer could dig deeper into specific areas, which allows the interviewer to collect a considerable amount of information. The second research method was the survey. BA Creative conducted an online survey using Qualtrics to host its survey. BA Creative wanted to conduct a survey to find more information about the public's thoughts about their knowledge, behaviors, and attitudes towards Black and Hooded. BA Creative did an online survey to get more people to answer questions about the organization, but in an inexpensive and quick time frame. The purpose of the survey was to access the knowledge, behaviors, and attitudes of Black and Hooded's key publics. The survey was sent out across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and other social media platforms to acquire information from members of the general public. The main objective of the survey is to obtain data from the larger populations from which results can be generalized to that larger population. That's from Stacks in 2010. A survey for the purpose of Black and Hooded needed to be timely, cost-efficient, and reach a large number of people and to be mobile. People 18 or older and living in the United States were eligible to take the survey. Due to the budget and time restrictions, BA Creative created a survey because it's a critical source to finding information regarding knowledge, attitudes, and beliefs about Black and Hooded. The next research method was the focus groups. The purpose of creating or conducting a focus group was to learn more about Black and Hooded and how efficient the organization's communication and messages were to the public across different social media platforms. These messages included social media posts on platforms such as Instagram and Twitter to access the effectiveness of the organization's media messages. BA Creative wanted to know specifically how Black and Hooded can communicate the organization's communication efforts. BA Creative got a group of different people together to learn the different perspectives people have when they see and think about the organization's social media posts. The rationale behind a focus group is to collect preliminary information about a topic. They are quick and cost efficient, usually only requiring a small compensation to participants for attending. Specifically for the topic of Black and Hooded, a focus group is necessary to determine how social media messaging is perceived by the public. The social media messages were taken from Black and Hooded's Twitter and Instagram accounts. A common theme among the focus group participants was that participants could not clearly detect what the messages were to get across. Focus group members were confused on the intent of the individual messages, noting inconsistencies and unappealing visuals.
Hello, I'm Hayden Blake with BA Creative. The fourth method of research is the content analysis. BA Creative used a content analysis to go over hashtag Black and Hooded's communication efforts. A content analysis will allow BA Creative to help improve the organization's messages. BA Creative looked explicitly at Black and Hooded's communication efforts on Twitter. Using the content analysis, BA Creative was able to find areas of improvement for hashtag Black and Hooded. To further the research process of hashtag Black and Hooded, BA Creative conducted a content analysis, which studies materials on a platform rather than people. In this case, BA Creative looked over Black and Hooded's Twitter social media account. This technique is best used for turning qualitative data into quantitative data through a process called coding. After coding the organization's Twitter social media account, BA Creative found that information within posts was limited. Some examples include low engagement regarding comments and replies, lack of images showing scholarship recipients, no video content, few posts about merchandise, no biographies, and finally, no testimonies. There are 4 parts of the finding sections. The first of those parts is the knowledge section. To understand how much the public knows about hashtag Black and Hooded, basic questions were asked in an online survey format. Researchers ran frequencies on the knowledge data received from the survey. These questions were either coded as correct or incorrect. Some of the questions asked participants had a positive result, while others had a negative result. For example, when participants were asked what majors qualify for the hashtag Black and Hooded scholarship, 80.3% of participants answered correctly. Lastly, when asked how much money is the scholarship, only 17.2% of participants answered correctly.
Hi, my name is Keenan Betts, and I'm a member with BA Creative. BA Creative used both quantitative and qualitative methods to measure perceptions and attitudes toward Black and Hooded. After data collection, entry, and cleaning, the research team utilized the SPSS statistics software from IBM to analyze the data. The qualitative data obtained from the survey was analyzed using ANOVA because the independent variables were nominal and categorical, with the categories being male, female, and non-binary, as well as race. The dependent variables were the perceptions and attitudes toward the organization. the research team conducted a factor analysis and reliability test to verify the validity and reliability of the scales used. The qualitative data obtained from the in-depth personal interviews and focus group interviews underwent content analysis. The resulting qualitative findings were then compared to the quantitative data findings. The dependent variables were the perceptions and attitudes toward the organization. The research team conducted a factor analysis and reliability test to verify the validity and reliability of the scales used. The quantitative data was obtained from the in-depth interviews, the personal interviews, and focus group interviews, and the data also went through a content analysis. The resulting qualitative findings were then compared to the quantitative data findings. Of the respondents, 23% of surveyors thought Black and Hooded was contemporary. Next, 13.1% of the participants thought Black and Hooded was high-tech. 19% of the participants also thought Black and Hooded was distinguished. Additionally, 5.9% of surveyors thought Black and Hooded was practical. Finally, 36.3% of participants thought Black and Hooded was beneficial. Researchers used a frequency table to measure participants' volunteer and donation behaviors toward the organization. First, participants were asked how likely they were to donate to Black and Hooded. About 2.7% of the people were extremely likely to donate. Next, researchers asked if participants were willing to learn more about Black and Hooded, and 12% of the people were extremely likely to learn more. Our qualitative data suggests that the more people know, the more they will donate. Next, researchers asked how likely participants were to volunteer for Black and Hooded, and 4% responded they were extremely likely to volunteer. Researchers used a frequency table to measure participants' volunteer and donation behaviors toward a nonprofit. When participants were asked how likely they were to volunteer for any nonprofit, 27.4% of people said were likely to volunteer. Our qualitative data from our in-depth interviews also reflected that around 3 out of 10 participants volunteered.
Hi, my name is Madison Allgood and I'm with BA Creative. BA Creative studied the media use of Black and Hooded's key publics through primary research. Out of the social media platforms Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the data showed Black and Hooded should use Facebook as a means to converse with the organization's publics. 19% of survey participants said they were likely to respond through the Facebook platform, compared to 16% who were also likely to respond on Twitter, and 48% who were extremely unlikely to respond via Instagram. The next section of the data detailed participants' average time spent on each social media platform among Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The results showed 2% of respondents spent over 8 hours a day on Instagram. Results included 0.6% of media users spend more than 10 hours on Twitter, and 0.8% of media users spend more than 10 hours on Facebook. BA Creative has the following suggestions. Pertaining to key publics, Black and Hooded has 2 key publics. They have scholarship applicants and donors. Black and Hooded needs to engage more with the 2 key publics and make sure every message is created to reach and attain interaction from donors and future applicants. With the correct messaging aimed at these groups, Black and Hooded will see more engagement with the organization's followers and key publics. With specific messaging pertaining to donations and scholarships posted on the correct platform, Black and Hooded social media interaction will increase with the organization's audiences. With targeted messaging, the organization can gain awareness with individuals outside of the organization's immediate social media following. Black and Hooded needs to strengthen the messages released on social media platforms. If the organization pairs the right messaging with the correct platforms, there will be an increase in interaction and engagement from the stakeholders and publics of the organization. Specifically, conversing with the public should be done via Facebook or Twitter. In the future, Black and Hooded should continue to use pictures on Instagram. Consistent messaging on each platform that connects with the key publics will help Black and Hooded in the future. BA Creative also has suggestions for the internal and external publics of Black and Hooded. At the moment, Black and Hooded may not have many stakeholders or donors, but the stakeholders and donors the organization does have still need to be included or informed every step of the process. This can be done through emails or newsletters highlighting the scholarship recipients and how the donated money has influenced the recipients' education and helps them in graduate school. Black and Hooded could also highlight donors at times. BA Creative believes Black and Hooded needs to focus on informing external publics of the mission and reason for the organization. BA Creative thinks the lack of awareness of the organization is a huge reason as to why Black and Hooded does not have more of a following. By increasing the awareness of the organization through media posts, Black and Hooded should be able to increase this following at a later date.
On behalf of BA Creative, we thank you for taking the time to listen to our research, findings, and suggestions.